Welcome back, collectors, to a sort of different kind of video. If you guys haven't seen, I did a review on the Vintage Collection N-1 Starfighter from the Mandalorian not too long ago, and this is actually an update video because the R5-D4 Vintage Collection figure finally came out, and I also picked up a Mandalorian figure on sale on Amazon. I didn't want to open up the one this came with, because that's unpunched and everything, and I like to keep that in box. So let's go ahead and take a look at the figures here. So we've got R5-D4, personally one of my favorite droids in Star Wars. He's on the newer Vintage Collection backs, which I really like the backs of these cards more. He is number VC303, and I don't collect too much of the Vintage Collection. I normally only get what I want. Unlike the Black Series, I try to buy all of those. If you guys want to see my Black Series and Vintage Collection, let me know and we can do a video on those. But here is a close-up of R5-D4. I really like this figure. He's got a slightly different paint job with the blues because this is his Mandalorian appearance, but he does look really good. I'm in love with this figure, and the Black Series one. His legs are articulate. They're on a swivel that moves back and forward and back. Same with his, I'm going to call them his feet, where his treads are. They go up and down as well. And they do go at a slight angle for that. And then you have his bottom leg. That is actually just a piece that you can peg in or out. So you can leave it out when he's just straight up and down. Or if you want him at an angle, you can put that in. And as you see there on the bottom, there are wheels. I didn't think that this would actually come with wheels, but that's pretty nice detail. And his head is on a 360-degree swivel, and you can pop that off actually, because this is one of the main updates with the N-1 Starfighter. But we're gonna pop his head off, and we'll get back to that in a second, because we need to go over my Mandalorian figure. This is an older one. It's VC181, which had a really good amount of figures out in that wave, like Hondo and a couple ARC Troopers. But I chose this Mando just because he's in Beskar. I thought he looked good. Here's his pistol that this comes with. Nice chrome paint with like a brown leather handle. And then you have his Amban rifle. This is great for the scale. The detail on it, you can even see the little yellow stripes on it that they put in. So great job to Hasbro on this Vintage Collection accessory. I really like this rifle a lot. And here's the Mandalorian. So I think he's an overall okay sculpt. Here's his jetpack. This does just pop out of place. There's a peg hole in the back right there. And we'll go ahead and set that down. And he also has his cape in this one, which I really like. So we have to pop his head off. And once you do that, the cape just goes right off. Super simple. Now, the only thing I would say with this is his flight suit is kind of brown in certain sections. A lighter brown. It doesn't really match up, which is kind of odd to me, but that's just one thing I had to say mainly. And the Anban rifle does plug into his sash there. I can't think of what that's called, but yeah, it just plugs in right there. So, I mean, a lot of different display options with this figure. They did fantastic. And of course, he's gotten the normal amount of articulation. And you can even put his blaster pistol in his holster right there on his hip. But yeah, overall, I think this is actually a really good Vintage Collection. Beskar Mandalorian. It's actually a lot of good detail. Alright, so we've got R5-D4's head and my Mandalorian here. Now, the reason why I have these is because, one, I want to put a Mandalorian in the ship, but I didn't want to put the unpunched one in there. So if we lift the cockpit up here, we can put this Mandalorian figure in. Now, you do have to take his cape off, which is kind of a bummer. So, but this particular cape is... It is moldable slightly, like it does have some give, but it won't fit with it on. It is just too stiff of a cape. So once you take that off, we can get Mando posed inside. It is a little tricky. His boots kind of get hung up inside somewhere. I couldn't see where, but they did a little bit. But once you get him in there, he looks great. I love it. We'll close up the cockpit there. And as you can see, we've got Mando and Grogu. We've got the cockpit sliding open and back there. Looks fantastic. Here's a better look at him and Grogu together. And I love the Grogu is doing the pose where he's banging the metal ball on the glass there. I love that. Now, we're going to take Grogu out of there. And as you can see, the R5-D4 does not just sit in there. Well, there is an alternative attachment from what came with Grogu. So hopefully you guys still have this piece. I kept mine in the box, and it just attaches right to R5-D4's head, and he becomes a swivel, and it just kind of falls into place in a specific way, and he's good to go. So now here's a look with R5-D4 in the droid socket with Din Djarin as the pilot. And I really like this a lot. I love having R5-D4 in there. Now, we're not done yet because I want to put Grogu in the cockpit with Mando. Because I want to have everybody together in this. I want this to be a really cool display. And guys, I love this so much. I've kind of got him at an angle here with Grogu still tapping the glass on the inside with R5-D4. I'm really glad that Hasbro decided to do like a future update, as in like they knew they were going to do R5-D4, so they allowed us to get that piece for the alternative droid socket. Instead of having Grogu in there, we could put a droid in there. I love how they did that in advance for collectors. So I really love, I already love the N-1 Starfighter a lot. And if you guys don't have this and you do want the N-1 Starfighter, I have an affiliate code down below where you can pick this up, and as long as it's in stock on Entertainment Earth and you use the link below, you guys get 10% off the purchase. So it doesn't cost you anything extra, you save a little bit, and you help the channel out. So guys, tell me what you think about the update and the figures, because I know it's not the current Mandalorian it came with, but tell me what you thought about R5, tell me what you thought about the pose that I put him in, and tell me what you guys think overall about Hasbro's idea to let us put R5-D4 in there. I love it, and we will see you guys in the next review.